Okay, what's up, guys? This is Afro.
I'm Nyanhial. This is our first podcast.
Yeah, and we decided to title it Podcast X just because, it flows. And we've got a couple of topics to talk about today, some interesting ones. And
today we're going to talk about the culture, the African culture from, the perspective of, kids from the diaspora who live in both worlds, kind of.
Yes, yeah.
And briefly touch on the issues of mental health in the African community.
So we'll start with culture. Probably a definition would be a good place to start. What does it mean to you?
I think culture for me is what distinguishes, my family from, the people next door.
Okay.
Or, the people across the road from us.
Yeah.
I think a sense of connectedness, like some behaviors.
Yeah, it's built over history, norms and traditions. And I guess some people have more culture than others, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and some people's culture is more richer than others, we should say. Not necessarily.
No shade to anybody that don't season their chicken. I'm kidding. Yeah, in Sudan, culture is actually a pretty big part
of everyday life.
Yeah, everyday life. You've got, the big South Sudan split, just as well as the many tribes.
Many tribes, and even back in the day, all the different body sacrification.
Yeah, sacrifices.
All the guard and all these different rituals and stuff like that. And I guess for us, we didn't grow up in that context, so it's that culture's taken a different shape and form in it. So how culture today, I guess one big thing, I don't know, I guess the basketball tournaments. The basketball tournaments do play a huge part in uplifting the community. That's why it's been it's kind of hurt so much that we haven't been able to
find a stadium. And recently been barred from a big part of what we do here, So and baby showers and weddings have become sort of
this big phenomenon. Baby showers start at 3 a.m. They're a big deal. People literally party and it's ridiculous. It's pregnant ladies up to 6 a.m.
Well, that's pretty crazy. And Ross Takeover, we can't forget about that.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I've never been, actually.
I know.
Have you never been?
No, I don't.
What?
I'm not going to Ross Takeover.
What happens there anyway? Do you know?
I don't know, man. People have kids after 9 months after, I hear.
Wow.
That's just a rumor, bro. It's just Twitter talking shit.
Yeah, that's Twitter, but I've never been, but maybe I'll go one day. My friends went actually recently, but
the last one.
Yeah, the last one. Was it in Sydney or was it in?
Queensland? It's always in Queensland.
Oh, it's always there. It's never...
always Gold Coast.
Oh, okay. Why can't they do it over here?
Because it's Gold Coast set up for that. It's where schoolies happens. There's just a bunch of hotels really close to each other.
Okay, fair enough.
Really close to the beach, and the nightclubs are right there.
Okay. Oh.
Ross Takeover.
I guess we should just slide into a topic we really want to talk about, which is mental health in the African community. I kind of take a little bit of issue with the whole mental health in the African community with two sides. Basically, I feel like nowadays it's become an aesthetic or even a culture, I would say, where people would,
depression memes.
Yeah, depression memes, or say I'm sad, I'm depressed. Saying you're depressed doesn't mean that you're not, but it also doesn't mean that you are depressed as well. So often people don't understand that it requires a clinical diagnosis.
I think people don't realize how strong their mind is. You know what I mean? We come from this STEM background. It's the placebo effect and all that is huge. So you can think yourself into a state of depression. That's why it's so important that you get clinical help ASAP as soon as you feel some type of way or suspicious that you might have a mental issue or disorder. Yeah,
you shouldn't feel ashamed as well.
Yeah.
Because it helps you and it helps others around you too, because it helps to distinguish the genuine mental illness from just a period of sadness.
Not only distinguish, but then you can develop a plan of action to help yourself get out of that. You know what I mean? Because that's ultimately what should be everyone's goal.
Right.
Everyone wants to be depressed forever just because it's cool.
So that's what we would do in the Western culture. Is how we should act to it. But how do you think in our culture traditionally we deal with issues of depression or mental illness?
I think our parents, because they grew up in a different context, they deal with that stuff differently.
Right.
So if somebody was to say try to take their life or something back in, you know, the day when my grandparents or whatever lived, it would, like, how people would approach it would be different because the reasons that they perceive to be the reason why somebody wants to do that are different. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, the absence of like a family or, you know? I sometimes feel like our parents can't make sense of the fact that sometimes these are internal factors. You know, the reason why somebody's sad is not necessarily because
what's happening,
everything around them is bad, but it's like something going on inside.
That's probably like the barrier that we have between our parents.
Yeah, because then now we kind of expect our parents to be like how white parents are. You know what I mean? And deal with problems like that. But it's like because they don't do it in that exact format, we think that it's not, you know, that they don't care or they're not trying to help us and they just don't understand. Which they don't understand, but that doesn't mean that they don't care.
Yeah, that's true. Would you talk to your parents about it?
It's hard. I think I live with my grandma and she would, I feel like this is kind of something she'd pick up.
Right.
If I spend too much time in my room, she's going to come and be nosy and just be annoying. But it's like just trying to, you know, suss out what the hell's going on. But I don't think I'd approach them in the way that, like, you know, you see white kids come up and like, oh, I'm feeling sad. You know, I've been going through all this, you know. It all happened when I was whatever. It's not going to be like that.
So do you think we should do anything to change this, or should we just move on with our generation and make sure that our kids don't suffer the way we do?
Oh, yeah. I think we have a big part to play, not just in the future, but now.
Right.
Not just like in when we have kids, but in talking to our parents.
Right.
Because, like,
you think we should try to talk to them more?
Because if we have mental health issues, what do they have? You know, what is somebody who's been running from, you know, bullets and whatnot and now is living in a completely different context and is gonna, you know, think like I think we need to be more empathetic to our parents.
Yeah, that's definitely
and generations
true.
that come
we
before
don't really
us.
talk to them.
No,
But do you think they'll be willing to speak to us about those kind of things?
I think if we come to them in the way that they know how to respond, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we can't, they're not white people.
Right,
We can't, like, approach it in the same way that we would normally approach our friends or something, you know what I mean? And that's the hurdle.
I guess if you are someone that's experiencing any of these problems, I guess the best thing for you to do initially is to seek help, professional help.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed, you know. It's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it happens. Like, it'd be so weird if we were all happy all the time.
Yeah, it's just not normal. It's not how life works. Definitely.
It's like you need a balance.
Yeah.
So if you feel too sad or you know, seek help ASAP.
Yeah, it does. It's just a check. It's like going for a regular check. It doesn't harm you. Nobody knows. It's all confidential. So
you know, we have Medicare over here.
Exactly.
So go to your GP.
Yeah,
it's free.
And friends as well. So a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. So I guess you can talk to them about that as well.
Also, just having environments where people feel like comfortable in talking about that stuff. You know what I mean?
To conclude our first podcast ever.
Yeah. Motives for why we initially started this podcast.
For me, I just wanted to create a prominent voice in our community, because the way I see it is like with the whole media attacking our whole community, like our name is basically tarnished by now. And I feel like if we had something in place to sort of protect our reputation and protect our like values and promote our values, then our reputation wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And like if you imagine any other community, they would literally go to war before they let their name get tarnished.
Yeah, like or something that they hold so dear as the basketball tournament be taken away from them.
No way, that would not happen, you know. I think it's something that's definitely needed,
For me, I'm always like super duper interested in like the potential for Africa and Sudan in the future. So I think a platform like this is useful in discussing everything that has happened up until now. You know what I mean? Because we have our parents who talk to us about, you know, what's happened back home. We have different, you know, sources of information, you know, like whether that's like Western media telling us this, our parents telling us that, we find out on the internet this and that. We can all discuss, you know, various topics that can hopefully help us in the future, you know, build a better country.
Yeah, and definitely have fun with it too, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, enjoy it. So
or else I'll leave.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, Podcast X, you can find us on Twitter, Podcast X,
on the
Instagram,
IG,
Instagram,
We don't have
podcast_X, and we'll
We'll
mainly
get
be
on
uploading-
Facebook for
Yeah,
everyone
maybe.
in the,
Yeah,
the
for everyone.
village.
If you're still
Literally
using,
everyone
if
in
you're
the
still
village.
using Facebook, fam, I don't know what
Why?
to tell you. Come
It's
on.
literally like the village. Like
Hey, they're still funny though. But
yeah, I know. I'm on there for the meme.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess see you guys. Peace out.
Peace out.